Hi everyone, welcome to Level of Detail, brought to you by the University of Staffordshire's Games Institute. I'm Mel, and today I'm joined by recent illustration graduate T. Wallace and game student Allyson Frazier. To mark Black History Month, we're going to look at black representation in video games and the industry as a whole. And while we do that, we're going to play South of Midnight. So let's jump in. So how well do you think South of Midnight explores American culture, Black American culture?
Yeah, first of all, the Megan Thee Stallion reference alone, that alone. And as soon as I saw this in the game, I was like, wait a minute, is this what I think it is? And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh wait, no, this was released in 2025. And then Megan dropped this track in 2024. And so they were quick with it. So I thought that was great. I love that it's just like, oh, they love music, the different things that you can get to know about her personally. And then her accent, the accents alone are just so accurate and relatable. Like my mom's from the South, and my aunt had moved to New Orleans and was there up until Hurricane Katrina. And so a lot of this feels really familiar. I used to go to New Orleans a lot growing up. And again, just the portraits on the wall. It just, to me, it reminds me of home. Like when I was little, I was like known for having 2 little Afro puffs. So just like that little painting there and stuff. It's very sweet to me.
Yeah, I think one of the things this game has done really well is take elements of Black culture and explore it really well, really beautifully. And why do you think, specifically in this game, why do you think that is important when, these games aren't just going out to people who have Black heritage, but they're going out to a global audience? So why do you think that's important?
Honestly, I think it helps bring more awareness to like different family. I'm trying to think what the word is. I can't think what the word is. It's gone out of my head. But like, I don't know, just different lifestyles and stuff, I guess. And like, I think having all the different elements, like you said, the photos and stuff, it really helps bring it all together rather than just throwing in a base house and, being in the game in this house and then just going out and doing whatever. I think having all the little elements really puts you into the story and in the mindset of it. It's nice. It's a bit of differentiation from other things.
Yeah, and I also think it's important for people to, even if this doesn't feel like it represents your background or your culture, it's important for people to see what other people's lives are like. I think it helps bring us all together. I think it also helps people understand that, like, they can still relate to other characters even if they may not feel as familiar to them. I think that's just important to do and experience in general. Otherwise you're going through life having very limited views of who people are.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this game's done a really good job of weaving history in there. So, the history of Louisiana, and then also bringing it back to the present, but it, like, not being too heavy on the history where you're playing this game, you actually feel sad. But it's just enough to kind of give you a glimpse in terms of, this is what Louisiana was like. These are the different kind of beats in our history. Here are the elements of folklore which are important to us. And then here it is reimagined in a game. And I think that's really beautiful because it's also an education piece for people who aren't from Louisiana and for people who would have no clue about some of these themes. So it's really, really beautiful. T, do you have any examples of where you think you've seen really good examples of Black representation in game?
Oh gosh. I feel like personally, I don't play many games like this to be able to say I've got much in similarity. But I will say, like, I obviously Spider-Man, the new ones with Miles Morales, I feel like they've really done well to highlight, Black characters and stuff, and kind of go against stereotypical characters. Like, trying to think for examples, a lot of like older games, so things like GTA back in the day and stuff, you'd have obviously like fighting games and things as well, they'd typically showcase Black characters as like quite aggressive and stuff. And I feel like having characters like Miles Morales, even in the films and everything as well, it really helps bring light to show that not all Black characters are like that. And again, like it it brings something different to the scene, and it's very refreshing, I think, in the game's atmosphere as well. But I do wish to see more games do that, but it's definitely becoming more prominent now compared to what it used to be. To say that.
Yeah, like some characters that come to mind for me. Have you played the game Season, A Letter to the Future?
I haven't heard of it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so like this game, it's so like relaxing and therapeutic. You're this girl that's basically leaving her home, and she's leaving the top of this mountain. No one has left their town before, and she's going out to like take pictures and record sounds and videotape things and basically store them in her journal to like be for the next generation, because their era is coming to an end. And so I liked that she had short like natural hair and glasses, and the way that she dressed was very like, you could consider androgynous, not in a stereotypically feminine way or whatever. And so to me, she just looked like me when I first got my big chop, like in undergrad. Like, and everyone like kept misgendering me because I just had really short hair. But it was like nice to see someone who looked like that. I'm like, like I would see people like this.
It's a sense of relatability as well.
Yes, and like seeing her mom and like getting to know more about like her past and stuff. And the story wasn't necessarily like focused on like say Black culture, but I think just the fact that Black people are existing in games, and we get to be seen in a way where it's like, it doesn't have to be every time we're in the game we're talking about trauma, we're talking about we're overcoming this, like it doesn't have to be that every time. Yes, we're strong, but like, you know, we also get to exist in games and be full dimensional characters, you know, as we are, because we're not a monolith.
It is really picking up out there. You ready to go?
I was over here all alone.
I'm sorry, I know. I swung by the shelter
I
because
love
there
their
was a leak in the roof,
relationship.
and then I had to drive
I
folks
think it
back
might be
and forth
cool
to
because you
Jolene's
touched then
to
on
ride out the
talking
storm.
about
You
hair,
young and spry
and to see like how the evolution of Black hair over the year in game has really changed. And I almost feel like it's, in some senses, is parallel with how we're seeing it evolve in film and TV.
Oh, definitely.
So now obviously we have more Black hairdressers who are supporting Black casts on film and TV, so they don't need to just have a hairstyle which is not really representative of what's good for their hair or what they would really wear outside of a show. And I think one of the things that we're seeing, because I remember it from The Sims, when I played The Sims back in the day, and like it was either afro or braids.
Literally, it's just that no movement.
Exactly.
No matter what the game was,
but now we've got a plethora of different hairstyles being added to different games. Even like The Sims 4 now have an urban homage pack, which has different head wraps.
That's amazing.
And it was supported and developed by Ebonics, who is a Black developer, Black creator, and so that allows us to identify more within a game wearing clothes that we will wear, hairstyles that we wear. So I think it is growing, and I think South of Midnight is a great example of that. Do you have any other standout examples for you of game where you have seen, I can really see how they're starting to lean towards understanding elements of Black representation?
I feel like you can probably answer this better than me. I feel like you've probably played more games.
But the thing is like, I just having no life and just trying to, I'm trying, because this is such a good example. I'm trying to think of,
you can see it now,
other ones where it's like, clearly you can see the evolution.
To Jolene's church with everybody else.
Maybe Lifeline from, Apex Legends. I'm just trying to think of different characters where it's like, I like that Apex is trying to have characters that represent different cultures. Trying to think of other.
To be fair, in Tekken, Raven and Master Raven, love their design so much, and I feel like just having the different like hair types and stuff in that is one thing in itself. It's like definitely growing. It's mad. Trying to think of other stuff.
I think a really good example is that I've seen recently is Tales of Kinzera Zhao.
Oh yeah.
That has really an interesting play on Black culture, but like looking at hair and on a male as well, which is it wasn't just braids. It was like there's so much variation when you look at the development, and that's really cool to see because it's showing that these studios and these developers are not just taking doing a Google search, typing in black hair and seeing what comes up first, but they're actually going deeper and trying to understand. I mean, even the three of us sat here, we've all got 3 different types of hairstyling because Black culture hair is an art form for us. So I think it's like one of the key things when you start to see it done well in a game, it excites you.
It's not a game that's out yet, but like our team, I'm working with a group of friends to make an Afrofuturistic action adventure game, and we want all of the different characters, the androids that resemble Black women, and specifically their hair. I want the wires coming out to look like different protective styles and to be different braids and stuff like that. For that reason, because it focuses on Black girlhood and like coming of age. Because it's hair is, some people act like, oh, what, it's just hair, who cares? It's like, well, we're often discriminated against just for how we look, to the point where, my mom, whenever I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, start interviewing, she's like, oh, are you going to, straighten your hair? It's just a natural question for her to ask because, she knows that people are going to judge me and think that I'm not serious or I'm not smart or I'm not, put together if I come in with twists or if I come in with braids, So it's so important. Also, it's just like young girls in schools have been disciplined and said oh, you're not adhering to dress codes because of their hair, the way that it looks. And, so it's just very important to, again, be an example of the range of our culture, the range of Black people are not a monolith. There's many different types of us. And just in doing that, it just gives everyone an opportunity to understand everyone more.
Excellent.
That was very well said.
So I know we've talked about some improvements that we've been seeing in game over the past few years. And I think even if we touch on TV and film as well, because I think that's a big area that they kind of influence each other. What areas do you still feel like there is room for improvement?
Oh, that's a very good question. You have to let me have a think about that.
I would say, just in general, it would be great to.
Just checking on you, see if you need anything. You holding up okay?
Where I'm most concerned about where we need to improve is that there's a bunch of people that are anti-DEI and anti-woke. That alone is a whole conversation in itself. The fact that people misuse the word woke all of the time and really don't know what it means because it really was meant to be stay educated, stay aware, no laws, don't just think that, oh, I'm just going to be oppressed. There's nothing I can do. Stay aware of what resources you have, what's out there. And then people have skewed it to say, oh, I hate these woke games. Well, what's so woke about them? That to me is what's most concerning for me about what needs to improve. When it comes to specifically within the games, going off of that, just continuing to make sure we have well-rounded characters and that we're bringing in people of color to help tell these stories and to help shape, how not just the narrative, but even how the mechanics and everything, from every aspect of the game design is inspired by what we're even talking about. And I think this game does an amazing job at that because with the lore, with the weaving, she, as it goes on, because there's a lot of, cut scenes and kind of narrative building at the beginning. But as you go on, eventually she notices the weave that's flowing around and their past memories from the pain from the history in the area. And so she goes around basically healing it with the little scythes that she has. Okay. And so it builds off of the mechanics, the gameplay is built by that. And then also the tutorialization, she's seeing the ghosts of the people, leading them in to free them, running away, from in history, trying to get away from plantations and get to free them to the north. And so I think it's just when you care so much about doing your research, bringing in people that are going to be kept dedicated to that, can speak from personal experience as well. It just helps make the overall, experience more well-rounded from the gameplay, from the tutorialization, from the art style, from everything to the different characters. The fact that like it's a big catfish that you're talking to is just so cute. It's like I have fond memories of just like we're always like getting together, you know, with the family and just like, okay, we're frying a catfish, like we're gonna, you know, and so it's just funny to me. It's very relatable, and you have those genuine moments, you know.
Yeah.
What just happened?
And T, what about you?
Honestly, I feel like you said a lot of it for me. But I was like gonna mention about like voice acting and stuff and like the actual cast behind the characters and stuff in the game. I feel like having actual like casting of people who have been through similar experiences or something similar to the actual story, or have come from a similar area like you, for example, you know, you have a lot of connection to the story of this game, you know, things like that. I feel like, again, it helps bring it all together, and it really helps people, like, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a form of escapism as well, in a sense. I feel like that's very important for games, and I feel like still being able to do that through something like this is really good. Yeah.
So I think some of the backlash that appears when we start discussing about representation in the game is that, well, it's a virtual world, and we, you know, we don't need to really have things be really realistic. What would you say in response to that?
That's so silly to me. It's like, okay, which is it? It's like, oh, well, it doesn't need to be really represent this and that because it's a game. What do you mean? So what are we doing here? It's a fantasy. A fantasy of what? Like games, all of it, it's built off of an allegory of real life. Art itself is a representation of our world.
It's
We're
like
creating
watching shows and stuff. It's the exact same thing.
Literally. So like, that's such the silliest excuse I've ever heard. I'm so sorry. So it's just like, that's why it's important, because it represents our world. And so we're just going to keep seeing the same games with the same characters doing the same things over and over again till the dawn of time. Like it doesn't make any sense. We need to see multiple people represented in these experiences, because different types of people are playing games. So it just, that is such a, it's an argument that doesn't even make any sense to me, of like, oh, well, it's fantasy, so it doesn't need to be relatable then? Is that what you're saying? And to who? Because it's like, are we saying that about God of War? Like, oh, well, it doesn't need to be realistic. It's about Norse mythology. Well, this particular one. So like, that would be so weird if they just like, oh, well, it doesn't need to properly represent Norse mythology. It kind of does. It would be the same as like Assassin's Creed. Oh, it doesn't, it's just a game. So it doesn't really need to accurately portray these settings that it's meant to be in. What are we talking about? Yes, it does, you know, so.
So when we think about games and we think about visual representation, like art side of things, have you seen examples that have inspired you where you've seen Black representation in some sort of art, whether it's illustration or game development behind the scenes?
Again, I think, like I said earlier, I am very into Tekken. I love fighting games. And I feel like the way, even with, oh my gosh, with Street Fighter, now don't get me wrong, I'm iffy on Street Fighter, but I think the new designs and stuff for Street Fighter 6 are really good. So you've got like Kimberly, and I forgot what the other character's name is, but they both look really cool, and I feel like they've really captured, again, with the hairstyles and stuff, they've done that really well. And then with Tekken, you've got Raven, Master Raven, both very, very, very cool characters. And honestly, I don't know, I take a lot of inspiration personally from like RPG animated kind of games, but it's more just like theme based, and like, I don't know, I like looking at the designs, they look pretty. But yeah, no, I feel like having a variety of different things is good, definitely. And it's a growing space. So
Absolutely,
there's always room for development.
And I think our games industry, unfortunately, is only a small amount. According to Yuki, only 2% of the games industry is people of Black heritage. So I think there's so much room for us to grow and be welcomed into a space and have voices in these conversations. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Like the milk. That's crazy. Like, are you serious?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
oh my god, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot, but because you're from industry,
Yeah.
why do you feel like that is? Like in,
I think there's a plethora of different reasons. So I think if we look at what has been represented in games previously, you might have had black characters in a game, but the what shaped those black characters wasn't coming from black developers. So therefore, why would you need black developers if people at the table already who aren't black can develop a game which has black characters, even though it's not representative really of black culture or black themes. And I think as there has been more indie studios opening up and people can have more control over who works on their team and what their game represents, I think that's where we've started to see some growth happen. And then I think as countries like start again. And I think as nations like whole of Africa and how the games industry is developing there, India, how it's developing there, it's really growing. I think that's where some of those games are getting more in the spotlight, and then to put it bluntly, the dollar signs are going on with some of the bigger developers and saying, actually, there's a market here. Black people do play video games. Yes, we do. And it's like, okay, and they've got stories to tell that are rich and are deep and that are interesting. And also I think some of it is just needing to find value in black voices. And I think that's not really been the case up until we say 2020 onwards, where our voices have started to be heard more and more, and there's been more spaces for people of colour to be at the table and have conversations, and more companies and studios reflecting on their content and being, actually, no, we didn't do this right, so let's actually get it right and invite some people in that can help us do better. So I think there's loads of different reasons. That's just a few. And I think, and it's great to see how the industry is changing and how where more interesting stories like what we're seeing here in South of Midnight are being told. Because just before we started filming, we were all getting excited about what was in the game because it related to us. And, you know, I couldn't necessarily do that with The Sims when I first played it. Just like, I'll take the take the ladder out the swimming pool. That's great. But it's beyond that. There was no really relatability. So, and I think as we move to stories which are really interesting and organic and really representative, and move away from stories which, if we look at like the one of the Mafia games that came out where one of the main characters was black, but it was like, that doesn't represent my culture. I don't know where this has come from. Whereas this South of Midnight is super exciting because it represents culture. Exactly. And it's not to say that we need studios where everyone is black, because that's not necessarily the best thing. Compulsion Games, who made this, that studio isn't majority black, but they've done an excellent job because they did their research and they had the right voices at the table.
And I think that's so important to note, because I think what holds us back a lot too is people being like, well, that's not my culture. Well, I don't have a place to speak on this. Well, what can I do about it? I don't know anything about that experience. I don't have those lived experiences. You can still work with other people and learn from other people and still create something great together. Like, our team isn't predominantly black either. We're going to continue to like bring on more team members that are from different walks of life and different cultural backgrounds, but it's like, it doesn't mean that like, oh, like people on the team who don't have these experiences, you can't support this game, you can't create in this. Yes, we can. Like, it's about understanding each other's experiences, listening, seeing like what is relatable amongst our different experiences so we can create together. Again, to me, it becomes like it can come from a good place of like wanting to be respectful, but you don't want it to become an excuse of, well, that's why we just couldn't do anything about it at all. Like, you can reach out to a consultant agency like that can help with certain things, to
I think, just to build on your point, I think that is one reason why we're seeing more representation in games, because we have collectives like 9B Collective who are consulting for games and TV and video and film, and making sure things are done right and are representative. We've got Disney, who have released a show called Iwaju, which is based in Nigeria with a Nigerian studio, and like that's really cool. Yeah, so I think so it's there's a lot of shifts happening and a lot of excitement to be had.
See though, definitely.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything that the games industry could learn from the other industries, so film, TV, illustration?
Oh.
Yeah, I think they can definitely learn that just because, you know, previously there weren't, you can see the progression of the journey of in film of back in the day, like Hollywood was white. It was mostly white people. My parents are in, you know, their late 70s. I grew up on a lot of old like film noir and stuff like that. A lot of those stories are relatable to me, but it's like over time, it's like, okay, there's other people here. We want to tell different stories. It's been a hard and long journey to get to that point. But now that we are having more different voices tell their stories and whatnot, you know, we're seeing that like, oh, surprise, surprise, everybody likes these stories. Like they're still doing super well in the box office. Like Sinners was so well received globally and it's phenomenal. And like, again, just like speaks so much to just mixes in with like this vampire fantasy, different aspects of culture and blues and people loved it. So I think the games industry can learn from film and learn from music that it's not, I've heard people who are like woke and anti-DEI describe it as like, oh, these companies are infiltrating our industry, like with their politics and their left, you know, facing ideas. And it's just, no, different people want to tell different stories. So what is the problem? We seem to like, it's okay in film, it's okay in music. So why is it not okay here?
Yeah.
Just because you haven't seen it or it doesn't feel as relatable to you, it's okay. Like it's just a different story. And if you just really don't like that game, don't play it. I mean, it's also that, but you know, so I think we can just look at film and look at music and be like, it's all right to have different stories told and have more variety. It adds to like the whole industry as a whole. It doesn't take away from it or stifle it in any way. You know?
Honestly, I can agree with pretty much everything you just said. But one thing that I will add as well is I do feel like they can pay more attention to different types of cultures as well. Because I mean, my background, I'm from a mixed background. And obviously we're in the UK, I feel like it's very different kind of atmosphere, like in comparison to America as well. I feel like being able to capture little things like that is something in itself, and like just being like looking at different cultures in different places, it'll have so much like impact on your knowledge as well. I feel like it can cultivate a whole different area of stuff. So I feel like that's definitely something that should be like more looked into. And then going back, like I said, about voice acting and things like that, like that's something else that could be looked at. But again, everything's been said. You like say it so well every time. It's like I don't know what I'm supposed to add now. It's very insightful though. So
everything you say is insightful too, because there's so many perspectives. It's like
definitely.
So thanks, Allyson and T, for joining me today. Don't forget, you can get involved in the conversation by dropping a message in the comments. And if you liked this episode, there are lots of other episodes of Level of Detail on our YouTube channel. See you next time.